A good Sunday morning to you, Roger, with the weather hazards outlook for utilities. Well, this morning we'll start out. We have had an upper level low in the vicinity and basically in place, and we've had kind of discombobulated weather that colder than normal temperatures and even some snow in northern elevations, elevated terrain of Vermont. Well, this has been produced by this area of low pressure. This is now elongating kind of in a weird way. The flow to the south is where all the severe weather threat has been. It moves off the coast over the Atlantic, really south central Atlantic. But this area of low pressure is extending sort of in an elongated fashion. It circulates all the way back to the Azores and then pulls back toward Newfoundland, parts of Quebec, and rotates into northern New England. And so we're seeing periodic little bits and bouts of sunshine, especially the Champlain Valley this morning, but more clouds are upstream, and this will bring some periodic April showers. So we're not out of the woods for that yet, but we do have some better weather ahead. In fact, the utility threats are pretty negligible this entire period, really from the rest of today, Sunday, right through next Saturday. We're looking at the best project weather to arrive, meeting that definition, reaching along about Wednesday and Thursday. This webcam image is shoots basically to the east, east northeast, up toward JP country from portions of Franklin County, and we still are not quite sharing in some sunshine here, although we still have some cloud cover now. 24 hours ago, we had snow falling across this particular area, but the trends are looking pretty good. Witness the fact that over toward Potsdam, we have actually a lot of sunshine. A little pocket of drier air is moved in. Of course, not everybody's sharing, as we have the areas nestled up against the Green Mountains, at least in the northeast Champlain Valley, seeing that. But St. Albans is looking at a ton of sunshine. Over toward Milton, kind of similar. Westford, even seeing some improving conditions here. So this is kind of nice to see. Looking at the Champlain Valley across from Burlington, Lake Champlain, you can see still a little bit of cloud cover, but we're not doing too bad here. I like the fact that we're seeing some pockets of drier air for a change, and this kind of explains what's going on here. You can see that pocket of drier air kind of erasing some of our local cloud cover. Everybody's getting into a little more sunshine here, at least across northwestern Vermont, starting to make a good trend here. So looking at the weather models, this is the 500 millibar flow. So what we're going to do here is this is valid at 2 o'clock today, Sunday, and we're going to play this. And you can see the upper level low finally moves out of town and heads off to the east of us. Still a little bit of a trough of low pressure in its place until we finally see that move on out. Strongest areas of low pressure remain to the north from this time on. There's the upper level low. We'll run this again. So this is all good news. We're finally starting to get back into more or less normal spring. We like what we see here, the 10th of May. So still we have kind of an oddity here, though, with this is precipitable water. It does show, gives a good handle on moisture. And so we're starting out here currently. This is the upper level system. And notice the sort of little bits and pieces of moisture kind of stretched out like taffy. Kind of tries to make it into the region, but in general, we remain dry. This is all good news. It's interesting to note that these circulations are so elongated. You don't see that very often, but this is one of those cases over the Atlantic Ocean. Now, late in the period, though, this would be going into quite a ways down the road here. We're talking greater than 7 days to 10 days. We'll start to see some moisture work in. This is it here. This could start the season with some thunderstorm activity. This is higher precipitable water, and that looks like it could be some healthy shots of what we'll probably see as the first emerging spring storms, but that's a way around the corner. So though we do have good news, we're not completely immune to some April showers here. You can see this particular stretch here. And again, these are cold temperatures aloft that are cold enough to produce wet snowflakes on our local mountaintops. This is valid tomorrow morning on about 8 o'clock in the morning on Monday. But the good news, that's the last of it. And you can see those dotted red lines there. That's higher um, thicknesses in the atmosphere, which would support a changeover from any wet snow to rain showers to well above even the tops of Mount Washington. So that's all good news. Here's some real nice weather coming in for basically Wednesday and Thursday. Kind of a weak area of higher pressure. It does look like we'll actually see some pretty fine weather The main jet stream energy going across the south exits off the coast into what will be a kind of a middle Atlantic nor'easter off the Hatteras coast, but it heads due east as there's a lot of blocking up to the north, and that actually will suit us pretty well. You can see a little bit of rain shower activity trying to make it in on, looks like Friday night into Saturday, and something we'll have to watch for any kind of possible thunderstorm activity as temperatures will be warm enough for that. But it doesn't look like there's a whole lot in the way of instability with convective available potential energy staying pretty much to the south of us. But as time goes on, we'll probably see some thunderstorms kick in, especially right here. You notice a northern track. This is way down the road here. We're talking along the 5th of May. This thing starts to look like we may have some potential severe weather that'll start to work toward the Great Lakes and make a run toward us. Way too hard to say when it's going to actually arrive and if it will even arrive. GFS ensemble is also in agreement, and we're seeing, just off and on a few sprinkly showers, nothing of real any great shakes. GFS has not caught on to the Wednesday, Thursday time frame of trying to clear out a lot of that precipitation. I'm a little bit more confident with the European. One thing to note, no blue plumes here, no blue whiskers, and that means, well, we stay as rain instead of snow. And accumulated precipitation over the next 7 days, we're pretty close to the quarter-inch line here, so drier weather than normal, and boy, can we sure use it. That's typically the case when you have a northerly flow this time of year. Not a lot of moisture sources. I mentioned that gradual warming trend, and here we go. We're going to get to near neutral and probably surpass that with a little bit of a warming trend that's going to be taking place. Amen. We could really use it with balancing out. We're seeing still colder than normal weather here. And temperatures go 3 to 6 degrees above normal. Hallelujah. All the colder air below normal temperature anomaly, at least for max temperatures, in the deep south. Egads, 7-day snowfall, 19th to the 25th, ending yesterday morning. And you can see accumulating snow. Still, some parts of mainly the higher terrain of northern Vermont. And looking at snow depths, this mostly from leftovers of our elongated winter here. Still 7 inches in places like Walden. But we're losing the snow fast now, and that's all a good sign. So here's our cold temperature anomalies from the 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th of April. You can see that we make some inroads here and finally get back to normal roughly around the 3rd to 4th of May. This is the CFS, the Climate Forecast System prediction, and it does look to be on track. It's based more off the GFS, but the European ensembles do match this up very nicely. So we're actually looking at temperatures that might actually get a little bit above normal for a stretch, not just a spike. So we like what we see here. GFS, European ensemble matchup here of daily highs and low temperatures. So basically 45 to 50, sort of in that realm here is what we're looking at really today, Sunday. So we've made some inroads here, a little bit warmer. Nighttime lows get very close to 32 degrees tomorrow morning. A little bit less model accuracy on what's going to happen during the day tomorrow as we'll have an influx of clouds and some rain shower activity. You can see the precipitation bars showing up here. And then tomorrow night we kind of eke out into drier weather and a stepladder effect where temperatures should be hitting close to 60 degrees at least for Wednesday. Thursday, not as much agreement, but still probably above 55 degrees and potentially as high as 65 degrees. That's the GFS indicating that. The European has since backed off on this particular date. A little bit of precipitation indicated, but I'm fairly confident that this is going to be a relatively dry zone here. We go back down in temperature, but not ridiculously so. 50, we're talking probably 50 to 55, and then we step ladder back up, and this is where it gets a little bit back into, well, above normal temperatures. We're probably looking at 70 to 75 degrees. Will it happen? We'll see. This will be down the road a piece. Looking at sea surface temperatures and the effects from the ocean, right now we're getting that circulation over the colder waters right now back into northern Vermont. That's why temperatures are going to be relatively chilly and very marine-like, if you will. However, off to the south, we do have temperature anomalies that are really, really warm still. This is the Gulf Stream current, and you can see latest climate information suggests that this is a weakening phase right now. And we have actually below normal temperatures, a sea surface temperature anomaly South of Iceland and southeast of Greenland, this particular area is very critical for the Gulf Stream as it pushes the warm water, cools rapidly, and then due to its weight of salt, then starts another conveyor belt and runs under the ocean. So this is a critical mass and one of the main drivers of our local conveyor belts, the overturning meridional Atlantic circulation. And just to show you the sea surface temperatures here, how warm they are above normal, very, very warm conditions. The other thing that I want to show you here is how warm the Pacific is, and this is relative to the ridge of higher pressure that's been building along the west coast and causing the drought conditions. And a large, they call these the blobs here, a couple different blobs, since has cooled a little bit off of California, but this has been very, very significant as well. This has definitely been playing a major factor in our winter that has been producing a big ridge of higher pressure. So the storm tracks and the jet stream have been basically coming across polar, in some cases, off of the Siberian continent of Asia, and you're looking at those cross-polar flows making it into eastern Canada and occasionally northeast U.S., even occasionally over the winter down to Florida. Pretty interesting stuff. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.